Hi, Revenger here. You said you wanted, so there you have it. At first, I want to advertise my Twitter profile, where you can keep up with updates on new videos, suggest me some ideas, and generally contact me easily. So remember, Revenger OSU. Also, I want to warn you guys that English is not my native language. I'm Polish, so that's why my accent and grammar is not really good, but I hope you will be able to understand what I'm saying. I would like to start with an actual making of, and at the end of this video I'll try to answer to some major complaints you wrote in the comment section. Just like everything, 8-bit History of OSU started with an idea. How did I find it? My goal is to create something original, something that has not been done before, at least in OSU community. After OSU 2016 success, I strongly recommend you to watch it if you haven't done it yet. I had decided to make more creative, original content like that. So I ended up all of my previous Polish series, OSU News and Tips and Tricks, because designing really gives me more satisfaction and joy, plus I brush up my motion design skills, because I'm still an amateur after all. But let's jump right into the main topic. The idea came out probably during a boring lesson at school, pretty randomly. History of OSU has never been presented in such a visual, eye-pleasing way. That's why I thought it was just perfect. So I had the idea. The first thing I had to do was finding a nice song to fit the mood. I found Journey Part 2 on Spotify Release Radar playlist and started wondering, okay, it's pretty cool but a little bit 8-bit-ish. Why not make my animation in retro 8-bit style then? I started my work with making a list of the most important events, in my opinion. Honestly, it was pretty hard because not everything is written on OSU Wiki, so I had to use other sources like Reddit threads or OSU Forum for some knowledge, for example, PP Record Plays. Personally, for me, projects are not so important because most of my ideas come out on the go while working in graphic software. However, I still made some. Or maybe they are not real projects, just random ideas for scenes, I don't know. Anyway, these are the only sheets of paper about History of OSU I could recover. Others have been already thrown away, I'm sorry. The really interesting and important aspect of design is inspiration. Let me quote one of my favorite quotes said by Steve Jobs. Creativity is just connecting things. When you ask creative people how they did something, they feel a little guilty because they didn't really do it, they just saw something. It seemed obvious to them after a while. That's because they were able to connect experiences they've had and synthesize new things. I get strongly inspired by a lot of art I find on the internet. One of my favorite YouTube channels with flat design animations, that's my style too, is Kurzgesagt. You can check it out if you like. Also, I'm absolutely in love with aesthetic vaporwave style, as you could see in one part of the 8-bit history. Now a practical part of behind the scenes. Unfortunately, I cannot record my screen in 1080p resolution because my PC is pretty bad, so you have to pardon me. I also understand this part might be pretty boring for people who are not friendly with Adobe programs, so I'll try to show you only the most interesting things. Okay, so here we are in Adobe After Effects. I was actually working on two programs, Adobe After Effects and Adobe Illustrator. Okay, so in Adobe After Effects, that's my main project. Actually, I can tell you why some titles are hard to read. You see, on this frame, it's quite easy to read, right? But when I put quality to full, it's way harder. My PC is pretty bad and it takes a lot of time to render preview, like you can see. It's still loading. So oh, it's actually frozen. Nice. Okay, but I prefer to go with third quality. It makes the whole picture way more blurry, but it renders faster. Okay, and the same goes with motion preview. RAM, it's called actually RAM preview. It renders way faster than if I would go with full quality. Okay, but as you can see, this composition is called Mainer lol. My titles of compositions and projects are kinda retarded, so I'm sorry for that. But yeah, this is a composition I actually finally rendered. This is outro. It's called YouTube something template because I wanted to use some YouTube feature on my outro. It's called ending screen, and I can put some videos and my logo in there. So that's why I used template I found on the internet. Okay, and that's the main composition. As you can see, there are still many compositions there. Maybe I will zoom it. Okay, so it looks like that. All these symbols are different compositions with different layers, different objects. So yeah, there are a lot of transitions between these different compositions, and I can show you maybe. Okay, this is the intro part. Okay, so it was a planet. It goes right here. So it zooms and bam, part 1 is a composition with a red background. So yeah, this background and planet are actually the same color. Also I used some transition presets, like as you can see here, I used some kind of a block dissolve, but a lot of you guys asked me how did I do this whole 8-bit effect. The answer is kind of simple and pretty disappointing for a lot of people. Probably that's the reason behind most of thumbs down. Okay, let's jump into part 3, into this vaporwave kind of part. As you can see, I used 3 effects. If I turn it off, maybe turn up to full, it looks pretty normal. Okay, it's frozen. My PC can't handle recording and After Effects, I'm sorry. Okay, so it looks completely normal, but when I turn it up, it looks pixelated and all these things. So Mosaic is mostly behind these pixels. Actually, I have some control. For example, I can increase horizontal blocks to, I don't know, 1000, and here is also 1000, and it looks completely different. But when I put, for example, 100, it's like a 100 by 100 pixels resolution, so it's completely unreadable. But yeah, 300 per 300. If I wanted some text to be easier to read, I was just increasing it. And when I wanted some part to be more pixelated, I just decreased it. Posterized time is an effect which scales down my frame rate to like 15 FPS. It made some animations less fluent. And Magic Bullet Looks, it's a pretty popular plugin for color grading. It has its different interface. So as you can see, I added chromatic aberration. It's an effect which causes like R, G and B channels, color channels, to split mostly on the corners. You can see the difference here. Don't save. Okay, so that's the secret behind whole 8-bitness. I know it's not a real 8-bit, but I'll try to explain it all for you later. Okay, so maybe let's jump into some more interesting parts where I can see how I worked with Adobe Illustrator. So okay, I think maybe the part 1 would be good. Oh, this is an interesting effect, how I made this calendar page flying down. Okay, so it's here. I used Bezier warp, and when I click U, I can see all of the keyframes So basically it allows you to bend an object. If I, for example, put it right here, it changes somehow. Okay, so it looked like that before. And well, I changed a lot of these points, which caused such an effect, like it was bending naturally with air. Pretty cool, I must say. I'm pretty proud of myself when it comes to this part, as I have never done something like this before. Okay, so I think this Japanese geisha woman is my most advanced vector in Illustrator I made for purpose of this video. Basically these trees, flowers and mountains were all made by myself. Okay, so let me show you. This is my folder with almost all of source footage. Basically non-pixelated, she looks like that. I was recreating this picture. If I turn it all off, you can see this picture, and if I turn it all on, she looks like that. This is a pretty minimalist style, as you can see. And I can also maybe show you mountains. I have no idea how I call them. Well, I don't remember. But I can show you, for example, the world map I used for a globe part. It looks like that. My reference image was a world map. Oh, it's right here. This one. And also I love the design of these clouds, which are like circular, so that's why I used it. I also made a simple moon and a rocket. I love the design of this rocket, it's great for me personally. And oh, I know a pretty advanced design I made. That's the part I really like. So basically I called it Peppy Headquarters. There are some books these titles are unable to read. You cannot read them when they are so pixelated. But yeah, here is the Peppy logo I recreated, and the laptop. These are animated actually. I used effect in Adobe After Effects, probably Bezier Warp, the same I used with a calendar sheet. Okay. And these red parts are actually supposed to be replaced with something. I put some mountains, some sunset in here, and here it was a visual basic like something design. And this part was pretty exhausting because I recreated most of the mod's icons, and the most important thing, a cookie. This is my reference picture, a Minecraft cookie. I'm so sorry, but yeah, pretty simple, minimalist. So let's get back to After Effects. Oh crap. This part is actually pretty smart because I'm a pretty lazy person. I had only recreated this Visual Studio Code with some titles in it already. So basically this part, is it called programming? Yeah. So okay, it looks like that. There are some titles like I had to put some shape on it to mask it so you can see it, but still I had to scale it up, so there was a problem, and I had to use some motion blur to hide it, because when I use motion blur all these frames get easily blurred, and it's pretty fast, so you cannot see it. But you actually would be able to see it if I hadn't turned a motion blur on. And maybe let's jump to some later parts. I'm kind of proud of this moment, I really like it. As you can see, if I turn it off, the whole screen is completely visible, but actually there is something in After Effects like matte, and that makes me able to somehow crop it. I don't know how to easily explain it. And well, if I turn alpha matte, you can see this background layer, solid color layer is just cropped, but when I turn alpha inverted matte, it's actually inverted, so you can see only this part is visible and the rest is this solid color layer. And my background here, it was made using one of my favorite plugins called Plexus. It allows me to change, for example, text into a sequence of points, lines and triangles, or many different kind of things, and I animated a noise to make it infinitely change. Okay, I think that's it, guys. I know I didn't cover everything, but still I hope I haven't bored you to death yet. Now my defense time. Why is there no Taiko CTB mania? I know these modes are important part of OSU, but well, actually OSU in the title may refer to both game and game mode, because I think that standard is just a community given name. Also, let's be honest, I know nothing about different game modes and I have no one to ask about them. People really nitpick at 0.3 pp. Can you believe how many mistakes would I make if I tried adding other modes without any knowledge? Here comes the third argument. Song length. I simply couldn't fit everything I initially wanted in song's time span. So I know some of you might feel a little bit sad about that, but maybe I'll try to compensate it for you in the future. Why is this not a real beat and it looks crappy, hard to read, etc.? It's all about the definition of 8-bit. For some people less into old games, like me, 8-bit basically means everything which has pixels, lower resolution, you know what I'm talking about. For geeks, this term is way more narrowed and is obviously more right. My video is nothing more than normal animation with mosaic filter. That's just the way I've done it, and I'm really sorry for my ignorance in this topic. I won't change the title, of course. You can see it as some kind of clickbait. I pointed it out that it's not a real 8-bit in description though. And just as I said at the very beginning, the motive behind the 8-bit theme was mostly the song. I also explained earlier why are some titles hard to read. Thank you for your understanding. Also, some people were surprised about the title in their native language. That's because I used a YouTube feature allowing community to translate not only subtitles, but also title and description of a video. Thanks for everyone who took their time to translate the 8-bit history of OSU. I really appreciate your work. Also, let me know if you would like to see some live streams, maybe from OSU, maybe from Toho, or some games which require lower performance than, for example, GTA 5 or so on. Maybe it would be a great way for me and you to know each other better. We are coming to the end. I would like to thank you so much for all both critical and extremely nice comments. I didn't expect such a success behind this. Okay, I did. I really did. But thanks for watching and see you in some time.